On board? Yes. Okay, let's call the meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Village of Bartlett, Counties of Cook, DuPage, and Kane, to order at 7:02 PM. Please call the roll.
Mike Warden,
Here.
Linda Hansen,
Here.
George Cosio,
Here.
Obano, Bob Bucaro,
Here.
Jennifer Rasmussen.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. You have before you the minutes from the July 6th meeting. Our chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Been moved by George, seconded by Bob. Please call the roll.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, on the agenda tonight is case number 17-19, Bartlett High School Stadium improvements, variation in the side yard. Are the petitioners present? Okay, do we have the mailings, the newspaper, and the picture of the sign? Mark those exhibits A, B, and C.
Yes, we do. And then,
We have a letter from the Forest Preserve District, it looks like, so mark that as Exhibit D.
okay.
Okay, the petitioners then, whoever's going to be doing the speaking, come up to the microphone, please. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the evidence you're about to give is only the whole truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Bill Templin. Well, first, thanks for the opportunity, I guess, to present the zoning variation. The project, actually, the school district and the school mainly had been working on this for, 10 years at least, and it's been off and on, comes up every now and again. Can we go to the next slide, maybe? Well, first, the stadium, the site, the actual football field there is shown with the track, the high school directly to the north, and then the rest of the sports fields kind of surrounding the stadium there in the south. The project is broken up into 4 different phases. Phase 1 is the home bleachers, a detention pond, and then the press box is part of the home bleachers, but it's going to be bid as an alternate, and then the stadium lighting. Phase 2A, there's 2 separate phases for Phase 2, Phase 2A and Phase 2B. Phase 2A would be the concessions building and all the surrounding hard surface for that, and then a pathway over to the visitors' bleachers. Phase 3 is an addition to a little metal building that's already out there, and that would be for like a team, not quite locker room, but at halftime for the teams to go to a place rather than going all the way back to the school. And then Phase 4 would be artificial turf on the football field. And they are basically in order of what they would like to do. In Phase 1, we will be going out to bid with shortly in the next month or 2. There's a few renderings of that's the concessions building and kind of a gateway into the stadium area. One of the things we've looked at was, like I said, we've been working on this for about 10 years, or 8 or 10 years, and the initial plans were to move the entire football field and track like 30 feet just to get enough room on the east side to get the visitors' bleachers in. And to move the football field and the track, that's $1 million and a half. And to move it 30 feet just to get visitors' bleachers in. So we took another look at it, and we can get visitors' bleachers in with this variance. And so that's the reason for the side yard setback variance. It's 25 feet now, and we're asking for a 10-foot setback. And that's the home bleachers there.
Very good. Have we had very many comments, phone calls, or anything like that?
None.
None? Okay. It appears in this letter from the Forest Preserve that they're a little bit concerned about impermeable surfaces and maybe water runoff, but I don't think that's a big issue here.
And I thought they later stated that it would have very little impact on their property later on in the letter, so.
And they're just concerned about possible stormwater, but right, okay. Any further discussion about this proposal?
So the water runoff, the retention area, that's for the entire
Yeah,
4
the
phases?
new detention pond that we're putting in is for all 4 phases, so even the artificial turf, the volume for it is for everything. So if 10 years from now, they finally can put the turf in, it's already accounted for 4 months from now.
Wow. Well, it looks pretty impressive from the proposed drawings. How long do you anticipate all these improvements to last?
So last,
To last, like into expansion of the high school or anything for the life of the school, or
yeah, I mean,
you don't anticipate having to redo things like in another 10 years or something?
no. Hope not. Yeah.
I have to add that I think this is a really an exciting project for Bartlett High and Bartlett and the whole community. It's been a long time coming, and the students and the school deserves their own stadium, I think. I'm really looking forward to seeing that this happen. Just a couple of questions, not that it's related to the variance, but to talk about the press box and the lights. How would that fit into the project? They're labeled as optional funds available.
Yeah, it's just based on funding. If there's enough money available to do the lights in this first phase, it'll be done. And that's actually a priority over the press box, to do the lights first over the press box.
Both items could be done at a later time
Yeah.
if needed.
Yes, yeah. So if they don't do the press box and they do it a year or 2 from now, that would be no problem. We're going to actually put the foundations in for the press box right now, so all that they would have to do is put the columns up and the platform in the press box. The underground work would be done.
Seems reasonable. I'd like to see the lights as part of the first phase.
I think it's very impressive, all the design and planning and everything that have gone into the entire project. I mean, the entire school itself, even, the backside of the school, everything looks very nice, very aesthetically pleasing. And I'm glad to see that this continues to be the case. And with open land behind it anyway, as Forest Preserve, I don't really think it matters how close we get to the lot line, as long as we're not impeding on them or causing a problem in that area. I mean, years ago, the school district land was on the other side of Schick Road, and they did a swap with the Forest Preserve to put it here, and that was more desirable for everybody. So I think this is a good continuation of that.
And just so we're clear, that the variance request that you would be voting on tonight is located in this general area
Just a
along the
small
east
portion.
property line. So they're requesting a reduction in the 25-foot side yard setback to
To
10
10.
feet. Right.
To 10 feet. Right. Any further questions from the board?
My only question is, since we're moving it closer to the line, and I know there's going to be a 6-foot fence, what about, is there any kind of anticipate, who would handle like garbage cleanup if it spills over into the Forest Preserve area?
I think the district would, after each game, would take care of any cleanup and even get over on the other side if stuff, I guess, happened to get on the other side of the fence.
Right, okay,
It is fairly wooded there.
right.
So it would be really, I can't think, for something to get to the other side unless somebody's tossing stuff over there.
Any further questions from the board? Okay, I shall open it up to the public. Any comments from the public? Okay,
Valerie Salmons.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Valerie Salmons, and I live at 1179 Litchfield, and I'm delighted to be here. This is a special occasion for me. Bill from the school district was right. This is a project that we have, at some different levels, been working on for 10 years. I have a file up in my old office with a lot of information from the Forest Preserve and DuPage County talking about different places to site it and what impacts would be there. We did a number of site analysis and actually thought it might be better across the street, but that wasn't going to happen. We also spent a lot of time with the folks from South Elgin because they did it. And we got a lot of information, a lot of good ideas, and that worked out pretty well. So, you know, we're excited. As we have done our strategic plan every year with the board, we always talk about generating a sense of community in a town this size. And I am here to tell you that that's what the stadium is going to do. And it's not just a football stadium. It's for soccer, and it's for lacrosse, and that's probably just the beginning. So I think there's a tremendous amount of enthusiasm. In the last year and a half, George and I, a couple other people, but we spent most of our time fundraising. And I can tell you we got a tremendous response for this community. And it additionally, we're closing in on $1 million. And what that has done is not only provide a tremendous amount of funds for this facility, but it's begun to generate enthusiasm and excitement and anticipation, and I just can't wait. Certainly, we don't have enough to finish it with $1 million, but we can get a good start, and we understand we need to phase it. My only concern with phasing it too much is you can lose momentum. And I don't want to reach a point where we've got a lot of the pieces in, but not the lights, because you could go ahead with all of those kinds of games without them. So George and I are fundraising very, very hard, trying to make sure we don't have to push it out too long. So I'm excited. I think there's a lot of excitement in the community, and I look forward to this moving through. Thank you.
thank you for your comments and all your work into it. Anybody else? That's it. Okay, any further discussion by the board? Any motions?
I'd make a motion to pass along a positive recommendation to the village board.
Okay, we have a motion by George to pass on a positive recommendation for the reduction from 25 feet to 10 feet on the side yard. Any seconds?
I second.
Seconded by Linda. At this point, I shall close the public hearing. Please call the, any further discussion? Please call the roll.
George Cosio,
Yes.
Linda Hansen,
Yes.
Bob Bucaro,
Yes,
Jennifer Rasmussen,
Yes,
Mike Worden.
Yes.
Motion
Okay,
carried.
we shall pass on a positive unanimous recommendation. Stay in touch with, I guess, Roberta, right, to find out when it appears on the board. Anything else under old or new business?
We'd just like to welcome our newest member, Jennifer Rasmussen.
It's nice to have somebody else with us.
And I think we're going to have a very large agenda next month,
Okay,
the most we've had in quite some time. So don't be scared.
Plan a little extra time, huh? Okay, any motions to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Moved by George,
Second?
second by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Let's do it.